So if you ask someone what occupational therapy is, they always think that we help people get a job. And I usually tell them that that's not entirely true, but today that's what I'm going to talk about. This is just a quick video for anyone on how to make your job more meaningful. And definitely check the link in below. I have a whole blog post on this that kind of goes over this in more detail. But in general, if you're working for a company, in general, you're not going to enjoy your job as much as if you are your own company, right? So if your job is like a car salesman and you're constantly trying to pressure the client into buying a car, and you're trying to make that sell, it can be pretty stressful. But if it's your car business and you own the lot and you're trying to sell these cars, you're going to be a lot more passionate and more interested in selling these cars, and you're probably going to be more interested in that whole process. So this is just 5 ways to kind of make your job a little bit more meaningful. Number 1 is to kind of just find ways to make your job more engaging. So in general, occupational therapy is all about doing like a purposeful activity that's engaging, that's meaningful. And if you can make your job more meaningful by just changing things up a little bit, you're going to be able to do it longer. So with occupational therapy, a lot of times we'll have patients work on standing, and while they're standing, we're usually doing some sort of activity, right? And that keeps them doing the activity longer, rather than like if they're doing it with physical therapy, that maybe they're just standing with no activity to do at all, and their time standing is just going to be a lot shorter. So you got to find ways to make your job more meaningful. And one way you can do this, and this is my second point, is to become an expert at what you do. So becoming an expert is, you can listen to podcasts, you can subscribe to journals in your profession, enrolling in a course, like start reading more books about your profession, subscribing to like a research journal. There's a ton of different ways that you can become more of an expert at what you do, and that's going to just make your job more meaningful and then help other people that you work with, so you can kind of motivate them and help them to become more engaged and interested in their job as well. And then becoming an expert can also mean like you start making goals for yourself. You develop a greater knowledge and understanding about your job. And I feel like anyone who starts to have a better understanding of what they do, and they start to know like the in and outs, they know everything about their job, they're going to start having a little bit more interest in what they do, and they're going to become more efficient, and they're going to be more successful at their job, and that's going to help their career grow. It's going to help their boss like them a little bit more, because they're going to be more efficient and successful. And then if they decide to do it on their own, that's just going to be more rewarding as well. So let me just give you a quick example. Like, say you're a video editor at a job, and maybe your job has just become kind of dull because you're doing the same edits every day. But like, say you start like taking a course or watching videos on how to do video editing quicker. Now that course can actually help you be more efficient at your job, but maybe you don't really care about being more efficient. Well, it can also help you, like maybe you want to start like a side business to do like video editing for weddings, or video editing for other professional jobs that you never thought you could do. But now that you're like really fast and more proficient, and maybe you want to start doing color correcting, like there's so many things that you can do within one job that can make you an expert. So your job can just become more meaningful that way. Another way to make your job more meaningful is just start eating lunch and socializing with the people that you work with. Just spending time and creating these relationships can just make your job kind of go by quicker. And then you'll probably have side conversations with these people throughout the day that's just going to make just everything a little less stressful and a little better. And maybe you don't get along with some of the people you work with, but sometimes it's just, reaching out and just discussing like something different, or having a different topic, and trying to like really learn about who these people are, rather than focus on what they're doing wrong with their job, or how they're performing at their work. And I feel like this can also be helpful to have these social relationships outside of work too. So not just with the people you're working with, but like have someone over for dinner, or go to an activity or event with these people, like really trying to learn about their lives. Because a workplace, they talk about work families all the time. The workplace is, you're spending all this time all day long there. And if you have these meaningful relationships, it's just going to make your job like that much better. So there's a study from Oxford University that said that the researchers found that people who eat socially are more likely to feel better about themselves and have a wider social network capable of providing social and emotional support. All right, number 4 is going to be, after you do all these things, you become an expert, you start motivating others. Motivating others can just be like, motivating someone to take a course or push them to develop their talents more. Maybe you notice that they're really good at something, and you can push them to kind of work on that more to strengthen their skills. Maybe you might encourage them to read a book or attend a workshop. These are just simple ways to kind of help others so they can succeed in their job. And doing so will actually make your job a little more meaningful. All right, so the last thing is to change up your commute. Try to start an exercise routine before you go to work, or maybe start riding your bike to work. Now, I know that's not going to work for everyone, because a lot of people have to drive on the freeway, but you might just be like going to work with your coworkers and carpooling together. That can just like change things up and make your job a little more meaningful, and it kind of helps you become more awake and rejuvenated before you go to work, and also when you come home. If you're able to, maybe you commute to your work, but the last 10 minutes you could ride your bike from a location. There's some certain park and ride areas where you can go ahead and you can just drive and then park your car, and from that place you can ride your bike to your job. And this will actually save gas, and you also get exercise, and that's gonna it's going to increase your heart rate. You're going to get that blood flowing. That's going to help you be more awake at your work, and it's just going to make your job a little bit more meaningful. And riding your bike to work or doing some sort of exercise before work is just going to, it can have a huge impact on your work performance and just help you be more interested in your job. So those are my 5 points on making your job more meaningful. I hope you felt this was enjoyable, and definitely like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.